this is the program that addresses issues concerning you as a Nigerian.
To interact with them.
But what happens afterwards?
I don't know what is delaying the deployment.
That is your role that you have to play.
Investigate each case.
I'd like to hear from some more people.
Talk your own. We the people.
Emmanuel recounts the explosion that happened on that spot that changed his life forever.
June 25th, 2014. It's about 3:45 p.m. I was in my office in Emma Plaza where I'm working. So, unfortunately, we had a sound like a tire burst. So, rushing out from office, that's where we have to notice that it was a bomb blast. And along that line, many people were killed. My wife died there. I had injury on my head. That's an iron, which I don't know from nowhere, just hit me on my head. You can see it here. And even on my leg. This leg was pinned on the ground by an iron. But it was stitched. I couldn't even walk for myself for complete 1 month. And since then, life has been very difficult to me and even my family. So I've been trying one way or the other to sustain their life, which my children now, most of them, about 5 of them now are not in the school because I cannot afford to even pay their school fees. So this is my wife here, and this is my last one she was carrying, which is a year and 2 months by then when the incidents happened. And each time I remember her, see her, I felt very bad because she has been my backbone, she has been my support. So I regret losing her, no matter, at all time. No day passes by my life that I will not remember her.
In recent years, across different parts of Nigeria, stories of violence abound. And in most cases, the damages done, physically and psychologically, remain with the victims as boldly as the prints that hit the headlines.
Talk your own.
Talk your own.
Talk your own.
Hello, I am Afyong Basi, and this is the program that addresses issues concerning you as a Nigerian. Welcome to Talk Your Own, We the People. Within the past 7 years, the Nigerian government has implemented amnesty program for militants in the Niger Delta area, and also proposed plans to rehabilitate 800 repentant Boko Haram members. What about victims of violence like Emmanuel Ape? What is the state's responsibility to them? On the panel to discuss this issue are, well, let me start with the lady. We have Fatima Kiari Mohammed from Like Minds Project. She's the founder and coordinator. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Kayode Olatunji, and he's the chairman, Bomb Victims Association of Nigeria. Thank you, Kayode.
Thank you for having me.
And from the government, the National Emergency Management Agency, we have Ishaya Isa Chonoku. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And of course, the audience members, thank you all. At this point, let's dive straight into the discussion. The question we're asking is, does the state owe victims of violence any responsibility at all? Or are they just victims of war? So I think I should start with you.
I would say absolutely. The government is there. By constitution, every citizen of this country has the right to protection. And we can think of protection directly linked to security, and security in the broader sense.
This is yours. So do you feel that the state owes you anything as a victim of violence?
The state is owing the victims of bombing throughout the nation responsibility to take care of their medical bills, their continued treatment, and also give them a good livelihood. They need to continue life. We have those who are disabled from doing their normal businesses. We have those who sold their inheritance just to keep themselves alive up to now. And we have those who are still down with life-threatening injury. We have amputees. We have those who lost an eye, those who are carrying nails in their spinal cord. Unspeakable cases.
All right, so Mr. Chinoko, what really should the government be doing for these victims?
There is a misstep in even the government activities. I want to be very clear here. Now, I want to make a case of Suleja as an example. Now, 4 people, for instance, came to make promises of settlement.
And these 4 people represent the government.
Now, at the end of the day, we as NEMA were faced with the tax of paying all the initial medical bill, the evidence of which is in the office, I can show. Now, the problems we have is just this. Now, if for one incident, 4 people are making promises of paying or settling, whatsoever is the bill, and at the end of the day, there was this problem of non-payment. At the end of the day, it creates problem.
Yeah, but at this point,
21 million naira over this issue.
No, go ahead, Fatima.
Yeah. Everything he's explaining is just reconfirming that we don't necessarily have the proper systems in place. Whether politicians or government officials come and make promises should not matter. We have a National Emergency Management Agency, which is supposed to do short-term emergency interventions. So they're supposed to be there at the beginning. But what happens afterwards? There are victims that are affected, probably, that could recover quickly. There are those that need long-term support.
We have some victims here, actually. Emmanuel Ape, did you benefit at any point from the state?
I benefit nothing.
When the incident happened, were you part of the Suleja incident, for instance?
No.
Which of the incidents?
Emma Plaza.
Okay, Emma Plaza.
Yeah.
Where were you taken to? Or when it happens, you were left there?
Nobody took me to anywhere. It is my director, whom I'm working with, that was the one who took me to hospital.
Kayode, you want to say something?
Yes. Last year, we went to meet Professor Sunday Ochoche on behalf of the victims. He said he don't have a mandate, that what he is mandated to do is just to help and expand hospitals, to put, he mentioned about 7 hospitals in the northeast, that he put 20 million naira there, that whoever is a victim, even if you are a victim of Kanu, you have to go to Meduguri. If you are a victim of Suleja, Emma, you have to go to Meduguri.
You are a victim. Okay, so did you benefit in any way at all? Okay.
The INEC bomb blast in Suleja, 2011. I had an open fracture on my leg. I was taken to Gogolada Specialist Hospital. The government, they did, but to an extent. Because I remember we were the ones left in the hospital, just the 2 of us, me and the Casualties, because our injuries were very, very severe. During our stay in the hospital were kind of tired of us. They keep on saying there is no money, the federal government has not given them money. There are some drugs that we have to go and buy outside the hospital. So thank God we're keeping those bills. And again, we were later on discharged. We spent about 6 months in the hospital. We were later on discharged. When we went home, we were, going for checkups on our expenses, buying bills on our expenses. We went to so many government agencies, but none of them turned up.
Okay.
So to an extent, government only did. I think what they are focusing on is those that are in the hospital.
So what exactly do you want from the government?
What we want from the government should extend their flashlight, their torchlight, to those that are at home, still bear the wound, not necessarily those that are still in the hospital.
Okay, yes. Thank you. So is it out of place for these victims to ask for these things they're asking for?
Government at its own level has been able to do the initial things, and it is expected that what government can do will not be able to cover virtually everybody at the same time.
But is that right?
No,
because this thing, it affects all of them.
I say I'm appreciating
okay.
the role of non-governmental organizations coming to team up with government to assist these people.
Why hasn't anything been done to at least the ones here?
Now, I will take the case of Mr. Emmanuel, for instance. His director took him to hospital. After taking you to the hospital, has he contacted any government agency responsible?
Should he be the one looking for government?
Of course, or the person who has taken you to an unknown hospital to government personnel. That is why we say, if you want to assist any person in trouble, please, let's have track records of the people and the places or locations you have taken them for help, because they will be part and parcel of, you know, the records in government's record that they needed to do a follow-up.
Emmanuel, did you know that you were to look for the government?
I have no idea of such. And even when it happened, I was the one who took myself to Metama General Hospital. Even they ignored me there. Nobody attended to me. Then I ran down. There's a close-by clinic, closer to that MAB Plaza. I run there, they said they cannot handle it. Before a doctor in General Hospital, Metama there, himself, he was busy. He saw me. He do come to the pharmacy to buy, our pharmacy to buy drugs. So he was the one even who called my director, because by then I don't know myself.
In case of any bombing, you don't expect the victims to start looking for government. I think it's the role of NEMA. And if peradventure the NEMA cannot get
I quite agree.
Yes.
I quite agree that it is our role.
I know it's the role of NEMA. Then if NEMA could not get to them on time, then they should be communicated. And in such, you know Nigeria, yeah. You know Nigerians.
That's what I'm trying to say.
In fact, when our case happened,
the case of Emmanuel,
I survived the Suleja in the 2011 bomb blast. Everybody, those who were able to run, ran. And me, I was down there, I was thinking, what happened? I could not move because I lost my sight, I lost my leg, I lost everything. I was just there. In fact, I was shouting. Then I just had to keep silent. I said, because I have a little paramilitary training in the road safety, that if there's an accident, when you are making noise, that if there's a rescue should not go for that person that is making noise, that still has energy. So I have to keep the little energy I had. I keep the little energy I had. So in fact, I managed to raise my phone up that I can call my people. But help came from nowhere. Okay. But at the end of the day, thank God, the incident happened about 5:30 p.m. And before I could get to Gogolada Teaching Hospital, it was 1:30 a.m.
How long do they have to wait now for this support?
Now, it all depends. Now, if we are to tell ourselves the fact, incidences do not happen when response agencies are always on ground. Now, somebody needs to pick a phone and make a call to the appropriate organization. There is this problem. You understand? And you know, you cannot just, by receive of call, we are in Abuja, for instance, and this incident happened in Suleja. You know, you could imagine how long it will take us to be there. And again, there is a principle in safety. Before you are able to save a life, you too need to place yourself in a safe position. From the experiences of the bomb blast we always have here, somebody said it among them, for every blast, there is a second blast. I could make a simple reference to what happened in the 1st October bomb blast in Abuja. Now, the first blast do not affect anybody, but people rush to see if people were there who sustained injuries for them to be evacuated. Unfortunately, it was when the response agencies went for the search and rescue mission that the second bomb exploded, and all those that were affected were response agencies. Like I said, apart from the initial intervention we provided in search and rescue and asked all the hospitals that housed the victims of blasts, we gave them as agency, it's part of our mandate to make supplies for them. So we supply medical consumables to all of these hospitals. You understand? Because they were not ready for what they were confronted with. So now if we have other agencies that are meant, there is no one government agency that can carry out total responsibility of managing incidences or disaster management. It's a stakeholder issue.
Well, it's still Talk Your Own, We the People, a program that addresses issues concerning you as a Nigerian. We'll be right back.
Talk your own.
Talk your own.
Talk your own. Talk your own.
Talk your own.
Talk your own.
This is Talk Your Own, We the People, and our focus today is on the state's responsibility to victims of violence. For the Presidential Amnesty Program, now, close to 8 billion naira was budgeted for stipends and allowances of 30,000 Niger Delta ex-militants, and over 10 billion naira for reintegration of transformed ex-militants. These are things we've been hearing about. Budget is made for it, but we've not heard, when we see that these things are being implemented, but for the victims of violence, those people here that have spoken already have made us understand that these things have not been implemented, at least not to them. So that is an issue. I have someone here in the audience. He was also affected, in one of the bomb blasts. So because of that, he can't stay under the sun. So I would like him to quickly talk.
I was hit by a bomb at Emma Plaza. So before I came on, you guys were talking about government, that the government that we've not gone to the government. So before BVAM was created, we as a group, we gathered ourselves, we went to National Assembly, we went to Secretary of Government of the Federation, which nothing was done. So I don't know how you want us to go again. We even did protest in National Assembly, not for them to give us anything then, because we had other victims that were in pains and still needed treatment. I lost a friend, Hope.
So what do you think about these stipends now that has been, that's
seriously,
been implemented
if you ask me,
for the
okay, as you're asking me now, let me just say something. If the government don't want to, if they are representatives of the government here, if you don't want to give anything, say you're not giving anything, nobody will kill you, nobody will fight you.
So what do you want from
I don't want anything. You stop deceiving people.
No, but what do you, let's not...
I don't see, if I'm asking for, even if it's a job from the government, I don't think I'm asking for too much.
Government supply drugs to hospitals for victims. Yes, we know that. But they don't get across to those that don't go to the hospitals.
Okay.
So now,
thank you.
we want BVAN now to come together with, because we BVAN.
No, we don't, it's not what you want, you want BVAN to do. It's what do you want government to do now?
I want government to partner with BVAN because BVAN, we are the direct...
To do what? You need to go straight to the point.
There are some that need jobs.
Okay.
Now, because of what happened, they cannot,
So you want government to
create jobs and further their medical bills.
Thank you. Kayode, please.
We seek, just as my brothers have said, we seek empowerment in area of job creation so that we can create job for those who lost their loved one, give them succor. Then also want to partner government in enumeration of bomb blasts, bomb victims, so that we can have database of those victims, because we are directly linked with all these bomb victims. We know ourselves, we know what we feel.
Do you think that the government gives priority to appeasing the militant groups ahead of the victims?
Yes, I think so. Yes, that's what government, they place them before the victims, because victims have lost their voice. And that's why BVAN came on board, so that we can be voice to the voiceless.
Fatima, you want to say something quickly?
The solution for me, looking at the Northeast, is first of all, there are several committees and initiatives that have been put in place. We have the PINE, which is the Presidential Initiative for the Northeast. We have the PCNI, which is the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiatives. We have the SSI, which is the Safe Schools Initiatives that looks at placing children, particularly girls, in schools where they have an environment, a safe learning environment. And then we have the Victim Support Fund, which was a collective effort by different individuals, including even government bodies that collectively donated and set up this fund towards supporting it. Now, I think it's great that associations such as Coyotes have been set up. And I think proactively, what civil society needs to do is put pressure. There needs to be more advocacy to ensure that these gaps are breached. Okay. In addition to that, my last word, agencies such as NEMA and others that have also been set up, I think it's also important for individuals, civil society to also put pressure, check what their mandates are and ensure that they're actually doing what they're supposed to do.
So quickly, let's run through the audience. How do you think the governments can work better with victims of violence and make things better?
The way we can work better is for the government now to meet with all these non-governmental organizations that are bringing themselves up to help those that are less privileged.
So how do you think they will have access to you?
I have phone number. At the initial time, they called me from NEMA. Even before they took the body of my wife to the village, somebody called me from NEMA. And he said he will get back to me, that they are putting things in place. He will get back to me. But on that period, I'm not myself, so I did not store the number. I could not go back. So when I came back, I was even asking, how
Did
can
they
I
call
get
you back?
No.
Thank you.
The government can partner with the Bomb Victim Association of Nigeria, because Bomb Victim Association of Nigeria has more data and they communicate directly with the victims, not like government agencies. Because if government wants to help the victims, they should come to BVAN, because we BVAN, we are closer with the victims.
May going through what we have been saying here, let us also have in mind that there are some people that lost their people there, because we have been concentrating on the ones that are still having injuries and the ones that are still in the hospitals, and they want, but there are some people that lost their own.
So how can government help these people?
So what I'm saying is that we come together. We know ourselves. We have our data. We have everything.
There ought to be a follow-up. Just like this Oga said that when there's a blast, they take people to the hospital. After treatment and everything, there ought to be a follow-up. Rehabilitation is a continuous process. Not for you to do one thing and stop.
Thank you. Thank you. Kayode, you'll speak last and then we'll go to government to finalize.
I think government should stop putting new wine in old wineskin, because we have victim support fund and we have Bomb Victim Association of Nigeria. So we need to work hand in hand. We need to work directly, because government cannot claim to start to alleviate suffering of bomb victims without carrying them along. So in any program of federal government to alleviate suffering of these victims, they must be included. Because it's simply democracy. If it is not by us, then it is not for us. Because democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So if you are doing this for the people and you are not carrying the people along, then it is inhuman. It is undemocratic. Okay. So we want government to include victims, bomb victims in victim support fund, so that we can get access to finances to take care of our victims and those who lost their loved ones, so that we can give them succor.
Thank you, Kayode. Thank you. Mr. Chenoko from NEMA, how do you think the government can work better to support these victims of violence?
There should be a very good flow of communication between the affected victims of terrorism to appropriate government organizations, starting from my organization.
Your organization being NEMA?
Being NEMA, Victim Support Fund committees that were set up to cushion or to assist, this victim. Because they are crying outside, we don't know. Like, for instance, this case of Mr. Emmanuel, I'm knowing it today. And I was part and parcel of people that conducted search and rescue mission at the Emma Plaza. But unfortunately, I'm very surprised. I know, and I can tell you that we even gave you evidence of we paying hospital bills to National Hospital, to some of these private hospitals, and you are not there. That is because there is no communication in between. So no matter what it will take for both of us to communicate, formally, I think it will go a long way to cement the grievances that you people are having.
And with this final talk, we've come to the end of this week's show. Thank you all. Please continue to talk your own. We the people.
Talk your own.
Talk your own.
Talk your own.
Thanks for watching. Continue to talk your own online. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Remember, for government to work, get involved. No sit down look. See you next week for another edition of
Talk Your Own. We the people.
Talk Your Own has been made with funding from the UK Department for International Development.